Dexter's Laboratory has carved its name in the Cartoon Hall of Fame, and rightfully so, with winning 3 Annie Awards, being nominated for 4 Primetime Emmy Awards, 4 Golden Reel Awards, and 9 other Annie Awards. It's safe to say that Dexter's Laboratory is easily one of the most iconic Cartoon Network TV shows of all time. Not to mention being the first ever cartoons cartoon that Cartoon Network had ever come out with, way back in 1995. Dexter's Laboratory is all about Dexter's Lab. Just kidding. Well, I'm not. But there's a lot more that goes into it than that. Dexter's Laboratory takes place in Genius Grove, which is believed to be a suburb in California, although the larger city that they live next to is never named. The familiar faces you'll see most frequently within Dexter's house are, of course, Dexter, who's a kid genius and expert in his respective scientific field. His mother, who goes by, you guessed it, Mom. His father, which you'll never believe, goes by Dad. And last of the main family, but certainly not the least, the fan favorite Dee Dee, Dexter's older sister. Dexter's entire family are portrayed as being less intelligent than Dexter is. Some might even go to the lengths of saying they're pretty dumb, specifically Dee Dee, who gets on Dexter's nerves a lot. There are, of course, other characters that will be popping up regularly as well, one of which being the iconic arch-nemesis of Dexter himself, Mandark, another kid genius in the same neck of the woods as Dexter. It's safe to say that they both want each other eliminated. Other fun occasional characters are Dexter's pet monkey, Monkey, who, much like Perry the Platypus from Phineas and Ferb, has a whole secret life where he goes and fights crime with his sidekick and girlfriend, Agent Honeydew. Another group of people that appear a couple of times are the Justice Friends, who parody famous superhero groups like the Justice League and the Avengers. While they aren't super common within Dexter's Laboratory, they're notable for the role in his society and world order. Diving into the action immediately, the first episode starts off after Dexter created an interdimensional teleport. A monster from this other dimension rampages his lab and starts getting ready to eat him. Dexter then writes a letter while in the monster's stomach to his past self and entrusts it to Dee Dee to deliver it after using his time machine.
You have to be inside the machine! Like this? I'm doomed.
When Dee Dee arrives in the future, Dexter shuns her and claims he would never entrust her to do anything, unless perhaps he was being eaten by a monster. Ironic. Dexter only believes her after seeing her chatting with her past self in the backyard, to which Dexter confronts her and begs her to give him the message from the future, claiming it could alter man's destiny. Since Dexter was so rude, Dee Dee and her past self worked together to manipulate Dexter into doing a play with them, in order for him to gain access to the note. Dexter hated this, shocker, I know, and decided he didn't actually care about the note from the future anymore, and wanted to test his interdimensional teleport on the 2 Dee Dees since he was so annoyed with them. Of course, this didn't end well, with the same monster from before emerging and Dexter having to write yet another letter while in the stomach of the beast. This ultimately results in the Dee Dees going back in time together, yet again to assumably mess everything up once more. The second episode in Season 1 introduces us to how every Dial M for Monkey episodes start off. These, of course, involve Dexter, who is relentlessly doing experiments on his monkey to try and give him superpowers. Meanwhile, he has no idea that the monkey is already a superhero who has a super cool girlfriend named Agent Honeydew on the side already. After the experiment fails, the monkey receives a telepathic message from Agent Honeydew that the city is in trouble and needs their help. After this, he transforms into his superhero persona and flies away. The show cuts to a scene of a lava monster trying to sleep peacefully under the city, but the people are too loud and end up waking him. I know, right? How rude of them to be living their lives. There is just no respect these days for lava monsters. The lava monster exclaimed that all he's been trying to do for the past 400 years is to get some peace and quiet, but hasn't been able to because of the bustling city above him.
Will you please be quiet? Hey, that was easy.
Monkey realizes that all the monster wants is a good night's sleep and ends up rocking the monster to sleep and sending him below the city. But plot twist, the episode concludes with the city cheering on the monkey, which just so happens to be loud enough for the lava monster to wake up again. The following episode gives us our first shot of Dexter's mom, who is sadly laying in bed sick. Dexter doesn't believe they when she points this out, and claims that mothers don't get sick. They're the ones that take care of the sick. He only believes her when she tells him herself that she is sick, and that in order to take care of the house, he's going to have to cook and clean. Dexter is dumbfounded and doesn't know what to do, since he's never been forced to do those sorts of activities before. Long montage of Dexter trying to clean and cook with Dee Dee commence.
Boysenberry?
No.
I give up. What is it?
Mud.
Oh, mud. I would have never guessed.
Dee's cooking is atrocious, which leads Dexter to make his own mom robot to do motherly duties for them. Dexter references Frankenstein when making his fake mom and proceeds to change her settings to not ask him to clean his room. Shortly after the mother is made, him and Dee Dee start fighting over her controller, which causes her to go haywire and she starts completely destroying the house. Dexter decides to create a Mom Droid 1000 and makes a new controller for himself, which means that he and Dee Dee both have a controller to one of the Mom Droids. This naturally results in a Mortal Kombat level battle to the death of the Mom Droids.
Maternal combat!
With each respected sibling being in control of their own life-sized character. Iconic, I know. But neither of the Mom Droids could beat Jade's staff combos in my opinion. After Dee Dee and Dexter literally get thrown out the window, they see their father coming home. The first shot of Dexter's dad is him coming home to a completely ruined house and not noticing a singular thing wrong. He even says, "Hello, honey," to not one, not two, but three moms, given that he says hello to both of the droids, somehow not realizing that there were an odd amount of mothers in the household. Next, marking the first episode featuring the Justice Friends, which are the Dexter's Laboratory universe version of the Justice League or the Avengers, the episode starts out with Wrestler, who is an intergalactic wrestling champion. He summons the most powerful champions of the Earth to challenge him to a battle. Wrestler claims that if none of them can defeat him, then he will destroy the Earth. Thus, Wrestler summons his Coliseum down onto Earth for all to watch as he battles their toughest heroes. Wrestler fights a lot of the Justice Friends, but none of them prove to be successful.
Your glory, you speak boldly and your breath is minty fresh. For this, I salute you.
When Monkey arrives, the Wrestler claims he doesn't want to fight such a lowly creature and should not be bothered by him, even after his alien assistant claims he needs to, at least to put on a show for the kiddos who are in the show. Come on, man, how can you not do it for the kids? Just look at how cute they are. The Wrestler finally complies and decides to just fight Monkey to get it over with. He absolutely obliterates him and crushes him into the ground and presumably wins the fight. Although the plot thickens, Monkey isn't finished just yet and decides to get up regardless of being severely injured. Wrestler sees so much courage within the little monkey that he crowns Monkey the winner even though he didn't actually beat up Wrestler. Because of Monkey, Wrestler decides to spare the Earth, and the episode ends with the crowd cheering Monkey on. In a not-so-later episode, we learn of Dexter's arch-nemesis Mandark in the episode Dexter's Rival. Dexter's Rival was the first Dexter's Laboratory episode ever written, but it was the third episode aired. This episode introduces a very important character in Dexter's world, and his arch-nemesis throughout the entirety of the show. As we all know by now, Dexter is a genius, and he's very proud of this fact, and he's not used to others messing with his #1 place as the smartest kid in class. That is, until Mandark enters the picture and starts messing with Dexter's ego. The episode starts off with Mandark answering every single answer in class correctly.
Well, class, welcome to the new year. So let's get right into it. Yes.
The answer is hydrogen.
Why, yes, that is the correct answer to the question I was about to ask.
And somehow seems to be able to read Dexter's mind and inner thoughts about his inadequateness and lesser intelligence. That is, until Mandark asks Dexter about his laboratory. Dexter assumes that Mandark will be impressed by Dexter's lab, given that it is something that most others would never have. That is, until Mandark has the audacity to yawn at Dexter's lab and proceed to teleport them to his own much larger laboratory. Because of Dexter's lack of lab, Mandark instructs Dexter to either become his lackey or to shut down his lab forever, since continuing his own research would be a waste of energy comparable to Mandar's own research. Dexter is teleported home and cries quietly while he says goodbye to his beloved computer and shuts down his lab. He then yells in anguish as his life falls apart. Mandark laughs hysterically at the defeat of Dexter, and honestly, I'm starting to not like this guy either. I mean, the show is called Dexter's Laboratory, not Mandark's Laboratory. The only person who should be allowed to laugh maniacally at other people's downfall is Dexter. Dexter continues to be a sad boy, and all the teachers start ignoring him in school, which hurts his ego even more. Everything was about to change, though, when Mandark heard Dee Dee's angelic voice screech, "Hi, Dexter." Mandark instantly falls head over heels for Dee Dee. Being girl-obsessed is a problem Dexter has never dealt with, unless you count that weird obsession he has with his computer. Mandark's interest in Dee Dee quickly results in Dexter to start conniving against him.
Oh, that's just my stupid sister, Dee Dee.
Dee Dee.
Mandark begs Dexter to set him up with his sister, and Dexter realizes that Dee Dee is a mess and will surely break quite literally everything in Mandark's lab. Dexter leaves a trail of candy for Dee Dee to follow, starting from Dee Dee's bedroom door all the way to Mandark's lab. Creepy Witch in the Woods style. Once Dee Dee arrives, he offers her a dance with him, and she instantly starts being super obnoxious with her bodily movements and starts breaking everything around her, just as Dexter had hoped. Dexter watches from afar and drinks a celebratory root beer for his successes in defeating his newfound rival and reuniting with his one true love, his computer. Moving on from that, Changes was the first ever pilot created by the makers of Dexter's Laboratory and was the first episode aired as Cartoon Network's What a Cartoon series. The episode was originally called Dexter's Laboratory and was later changed to Changes as it made more sense for the context of the episode. The episode starts out with Dexter's mother asking Dee Dee to check if Dexter is ready for school, to which Dee Dee excitedly skips to his lab. When his door is locked, she uses a credit card to break into it. She finds him busy at work on a new invention, and much to his surprise, she's in his lab when she's not supposed to be. He angrily tries to remove her, but to his annoyance, she starts running around and touching all of his stuff. To Dee Dee's absolute horror, and Dexter's worst nightmare, she sees that he's been conducting experiments on one of her dolls. After ripping into Dexter, the remote he was just working on lands into the palm of her right hand after he trips over it, and Dee Dee, being Dee Dee, gets distracted by its big shiny button.
Ooh, what does this button do? Please, please, do not push the button. You have no idea what it...
After Dee Dee presses the button that she wasn't supposed to press, Dexter, to his dismay, turns into a bunny rabbit. To get his revenge, Dexter turns Dee Dee into a frog. Dee Dee then takes the remote and starts turning Dexter into all kinds of different animals. And as you can imagine, this turns out into an all-out war. I didn't know Animal Planet looked like this. While this continues, their mother is somehow completely oblivious to everything around her. Finally, she starts getting slightly annoyed because of the ruckus coming from upstairs. She starts to climb, but they both unfortunately just turned into some of the slowest animals on the planet. A turtle and a snail. The music rises. The tension goes crazy. Will they make it back before the mom makes it back? Or will they suffer the consequences of being animals forever? And her seeing her sweet angels in such upsetting states. What will she do? Who will she turn into? What is going to happen? Who will win? They click the button just in time. The mother opens the door and sees that they are completely fine. But wait, there's a twist. They switched bodies.
Why not? I've been everything else today.
Remember how I mentioned that Agent Honeydew was in a relationship with Monkey? Well, this episode is all about them and their cute little date. Well, that is at least until Monkey is stolen away by an evil man that wants him to steal gold from Fort Knox. But no mind that, look how cute they are together.
Oh, and don't touch my record player.
After Monkey is captured, the Honeydew attempts to rescue him and get the gold back. When she starts struggling, she yells for help to awaken Monkey from his trance, and results in them being freed. Get you a man like a monkey. Monkey knows what's up. Marking the first episode that Dexter and Dee Dee show any actual loving emotions towards each other, this episode ironically starts in arguments. It's clear that so far, Dee Dee and Dexter haven't had much in common, let alone any similar idols.
Just look at you. You're 2 foot nothing. You can barely see. And besides everything, you're a dork.
Yet in the first scene of this episode, we see Dexter and Dee Dee excitedly watching their favorite superhero fight crime on TV, and even going to the lengths of dressing up like him. During this episode, both of the kids try out to be Major Glory's sidekick, and he ultimately chooses Dee Dee, much to Dexter's dismay. All of a sudden, they get attacked by the same villains Major Glory was fighting on the news before. Dexter gets defensive when one of the villains hits Dee Dee in the head, while in the process of knocking down a column, and he starts fighting the villains for her. Although she seems completely oblivious to this while it's happening. Silly, oblivious Dee Dee. But while Dee Dee may be a little naive, she does notice her little brother pass out, who is clearly exhausted from his fight with the villains. She then shows pity for him, and decides that she needs to watch after her little brother, instead of watching after the whole city with Major Glory. And that, my friends, is true sibling love at its core. Continuing on with sibling dilemmas, Dexter can't seem to afford his lab equipment, and has fallen $200 in debt with NASA. Why NASA was giving a little kid $200 worth of lab equipment to a little boy is a good question, but one we will not be getting the answer to seemingly ever. Dexter does a lot of side jobs to try and get enough money to pay NASA back, including asking his dad for a larger allowance, making a lemonade stand, having a garage sale. He even offers someone to do their homework for them, but they decline.
We shall take your light converters.
Fine, that will be $14.99 for the pair.
I said we shall take your light converters.
Like I said, take them, they're yours.
During all of this, he makes almost no money, while Dee Dee seems to be extremely successful. She even gets a higher allowance from her father just because she's older. While all of this annoyed Dexter, the icing on the cake was when Dee Dee won a $200 million check. Soon after this, NASA shows up to collect his debt, so he ends up trying to break into Dee Dee's piggy bank to steal some of her money. She tells him that she would have given the money if he would have just asked, so he asks, and she says that the only way she'll give him the money is after one condition. The show then cuts to Dee Dee's side of the lab being completely decked out in pink, showing that her condition was to split his lab with him. Dexter and Mandark's rivalry continues as Mandark challenges Dexter to a science fair competition. At the competition, Dexter isn't worried about winning and seems quite lax as he shows off one of his older inventions.
No, please leave me alone so I can be in peace. I must look my best for the fair. Whatever.
That is, until Mandark shows up and whips out a literal spellbook and starts casting spells to put clothes on him and makes things appear. He ends up summoning an alien-looking creature from a different dimension named Jojo, which captures Dee Dee. The two arch-rivals have to team up in order to save their common goal, Dee Dee. For a brief moment, there's an alliance between the three. That is, until Dexter and Mandark are rewarded first place in the science fair for their heroic act, and start arguing over who actually got first place. Thus, the feud continues. Following up on the exciting life of Monkey, in this episode, Monkey finds himself battling Mandark's pet duck, Quacker the Fowl. While Mandark was sleeping one night, his duck overheard him sleep-talking about how madly he wanted Dexter gone and his lab out of the picture.
Stupid Dee Dee coming into my lab. Using secret entrance behind the bookcase.
The duck finds his way to Dexter's lab and makes his way into it, where he finds Monkey. Monkey is unsure of what is going on, but it quickly turns into an all-out brawl. The boys the next day show off their respected pets for show and tell, with no knowledge of the night before, and have no idea why their pets are too tired to even stand up straight for their class demonstration. While on a family road trip, Dexter's parents' car pops and they're forced to stop at a car stop that Dexter and Dee Dee seem more than unhappy to be visiting. After eating, their father goes to change the song from the jukebox.
Country western music gives you the blues. Now let me go talk to Mr. Jukebox and see if we can't lighten the mood a little, huh?
Do you think he'll be okay? No, Cole.
Which causes Earl to lose focus and lose a wrestling match for the first time in his life. Earl angrily asks Dexter's dad to arm wrestle him to get his revenge, but his father refuses, trying to set an example to the family and his children that violence is never the answer. Earl does many things to try and make Dexter's dad wrestle him, including destroying their family car, none of which makes him budge. Earl then doesn't hold the door open for his wife, which causes him to flip out and challenge him to his silly wrestling match. Out of frustration, Dexter then makes his dad an invention so he can win easily. The family hugs, and the episode concludes. Dexter's dad wants to have a normal father-son relationship, and asks Dexter to try and learn how to play catch with him.
Go ahead, son, take it. It won't bite.
What do I do now?
Dexter is adamant that he doesn't want to do this, but his father insists. It's found out easily that Dexter doesn't have an athletic bone in his body. He even tries multiple other sports, but nothing fits. That is, until Dee Dee releases a giant monster, which causes Dexter to become a literal athlete to battle it. Sadly, his father sees none of this. The feud continues when Dexter tries to save the world by destroying a meteor with one of his inventions, and unintentionally causes a bunch of asteroids to start falling instead. He calls the only person he knows who might be able to help, reluctantly. Mandark. Dun dun dun.
I need your help, dude.
Giant meteors, you say? Say no more, Dexter. Oh, ye of little mind. I'll save the day and take all the glory. Ha 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 ha!
Mandark?
Mandark thinks he can do it himself, yet fails again. They decide to work together, but get distracted while arguing, which causes the meteors to hit and destroy the Earth. Mandark's quest for Dee Dee's love continues within this episode. Starting off while on the beach, Mandark notices Dee Dee noticing another boy. Mandark notices that it's a surfer boy, so he decides to enter into the surfing competition in order to impress Dee Dee.
It just so happens I, Mandark, am a shoo-in to win the surf contest tomorrow.
You surf, Mandark?
Honey, where I'm from, they call me Wave Master.
When practicing his surfing skills, and failing miserably I might add, Mandark wipes out and has an inspirational chat with a tiki god. He realizes that he doesn't have to be good at surfing. He can just use his inventions to create booby traps to eliminate all other competition. To Mandark's demise, he realizes that Dee Dee is actually the one surfing instead of the other surfer boy. Mandark then has to use all of his energy during the competition to save Dee Dee from his traps, resulting in him failing miserably and Dee Dee winning. While Dee Dee is being celebrated for her win, Mandark and the surfing guy bond over the surf and become besties. An inside scoop on how Dexter's parents fell in love. Basically, Dexter's mom suffers from germ-related OCD. She attends a doctor's visit, and the doctor tells her that her OCD is causing her issues within her normal life, and he hires Dexter's dad to germ her up and try to expose her to germs.
You garama!
All of their trials fail, and the doctor tells her that she has to at least try if she's wanting to get any better. He overhears this and decides to invite her out to a dance/dinner party. They dance together, and he reveals that he purchased rubber gloves in order for them to be able to touch each other without actually touching. Because of this, they end up winning the dance competition and falling in love, and have their happily ever suburban life with 2 kids after. In this episode, Dexter learns an important lesson on just how much his family cares about him. While eating breakfast, Dexter gets annoyed because his family doesn't take any interest in things Dexter is telling them and excited about.
Hey guys, did you hear about the new gyroscopic stabilization monopropellants infused with isotopic thermal thrusters?
He wishes he could just disappear. Angsty teen moments. Dexter then gets transported into space along with the rest of his family. The aliens take Dexter away, and when he starts yelling for help, his mother's motherly instincts kick in, and she frees herself from the aliens. Shortly after the rest of them get free, the family races to find Dexter and eventually find him. They quickly pick him up and start running, but get chased by aliens. They get cornered and have one last goodbye hug, assuming that it's the end for them. So sweet, so precious, so unlike them. Dexter thinks of a plan, and they end up launching themselves to the transmitter that could potentially get them home. If only the big bad alien hadn't shown up again. The whole family starts fighting him, and they end up accidentally ripping off the alien's clothes. The alien is so embarrassed, they are able to go home easily.
Well, it sure feels good to be back home.
But I still don't understand what those aliens wanted from you.
You know how mixed up those kooky aliens can be.
As per usual, in this episode, Mandark and Dexter are going head-to-head in a school science fair competition. Unlike most times, though, neither one of them won. Wait. Let's look at that again. Neither of them won? You heard me right. Some new girl in school won. Dexter and Mandark are less than thrilled. They decide to team up in order to run her out of town for good.
Did you guys know that there was a math test today? I got an A.
Team up!
which almost imminently fails. They start arguing and give up. They admit their defeat to the girl, but she says she's not into science anymore. The boys are dumbfounded and ask what else she could be into, and she says boys. The episode concludes with her trying to kiss them. An honorable mention is Bygone Errors, which is an episode all about Dexter and Dee Dee reminiscing on their childhood when they were older. Nothing too important happens in this episode.
What? I said, look, a pony! Huh? I love ponies! Here, pony, pony.
I just want to show you guys how cute they are when they're old. Look at their little frail bodies. Something never heard of before happens within this episode. Dexter decides to give up his lab. Dexter calls Mandark to tell him he's tired of the feud, and he's giving up, which results in him inviting Mandark over to show him around his new lab.
Alien communicator, atom smasher, teleporter, giant robot, time portal. Oh yeah, I'm sure you got all this stuff back at your lab.
Totally.
Mandark is suspicious, of course. Who wouldn't be? But he decides to go anyway. Dexter even offers to use a smarter machine on Mandark, but he insists that Dexter do it, instead thinking it's a trick. Mandark realizes that Dexter is for real not messing with him. He then asks Dexter to help him build his world-dominating machine, but instead of helping Dexter, he makes him do all the work. When the machine is finally ready, Dexter gives Mandark the button for Mandark to turn it on, but it doesn't work. Dexter takes back the remote and clicks it, and the lash from the machine from the opening credits scene flashes, and Dexter officially takes back the episode. Quite clever on the writer's part, if I do say so myself. Last but not least, almost serves as a crossover as it includes not only Dexter's normal cast, but also Dial M for Monkey characters and the Justice Friends. They pulled out all the stops for their presumably last episode. In this special, Dexter is a part of a foreign exchange program in Japan.
Hello, my name is Dexter from America, and I've come to your school on this student exchange program because I am so smart.
So?
On Dexter's first day of class, he gets in a robotic fight with two other students and accidentally sends Muscles flying to a volcano-like structure that is home to a Godzilla-like creature named Dexter. Dexter barely makes it away from the monster. Then it cuts to Agent Honeydew calling in the Justice Friends for backup on the monster, who is presumably terrorizing the town. Cut to a long montage of the Justice Friends fighting Dexter. After failing, Agent Honeydew calls on to Monkey, who ultimately fails as well. The show cuts to Dexter's home where he is… Wait a minute. The time has finally come. Dexter is showing his parents his lab. He needs help fighting.
Okay.
And the only people he has to turn to are his parents. They all suit up and get ready for battle. The family learns about an epic power called Union Love, and the Dexters team up to fight with passion. Mandark shows up and causes issues, as per usual, claiming that he can fight Dexter, but ends up just making him more powerful and failing. As the Dexter family starts to lose, Monkey arises from his compromised position on the other side of the city and starts to charge up their robot in order to be more powerful against Dexter. They run and slam into Dexter, causing him to explode into a bunch of green goo.
And thanks to Monkey, we would not have made it without him. You said it, Monkey.
Dexter realizes that his pet monkey was actually Monkey, the greatest superhero of Earth. Mentioning this, his parents realize they still need to talk to him about his lab. Dexter then uses his mind-erasing machine to make them forget about his lab. Monkey sees him do this and decides to use it on Dexter as well, leaving him to forget about Monkey and his parents to forget about Dexter's laboratory. Classically, this episode ends with a twist, as Dexter doesn't even remember defeating the monster. So when Mandark claims that he did it himself, Dexter gets sad and believes him.
I wish that I could have saved the world from the giant monster.
And as per usual, Dee Dee just smiles and waves as the episode cuts to its classic, the end. Ego Trip was originally going to be the show's finale, but because of its popularity, both critic-wise and fan-wise, the creators decided to continue for another season. So you can thank this movie for allowing Dexter's show to continue. The 1-hour special, Ego Trip, dives into the idea of Dexter going to the future to see just how powerful he becomes.
Dexter, the boy who saved the future! Woo! I can't wait for the future!
Dexter originally goes into the time machine because while Dee Dee was messing around with his gadgets, she accidentally set off the time machine portal, and red robots come through, claiming they are there to destroy the one who saves the future. This causes Dexter to become intrigued at his future self, which causes him to go into the time machine himself. Dexter is met with intense disappointment when he goes into the future, only to see a scrawny, looser version of himself that is working for none other than Mandark. After degrading his future self for about 10 minutes,
I have yet to be beaten by that oversized head of a man, but you cower at the sound of his voice.
he finds that older Dexter has made brilliant blueprints. He is convinced that his future self just needs some further help, realizing just how powerful he is, and decides to take him further into the future to see just how cool they become. However, when they leave, Mandark ends up finding his blueprints. In the new time period, both Dexters meet their extremely older version of themselves. He's too old to remember how he saves the world, so all three of them pile into the machine to go back even further. In their new time period, they find a rugged, bald superhero version of Dexter who's fighting crime.
Pardon me, my good man, but wouldst thou know where, and more importantly, when we are today?
He then explains Mandark's evil backstory. Mandark found the core and blueprints that Dexter had left in his cubicle, and the core corrupted him to no end. The core was so powerful, in fact, that it caused every human on Earth to become incredibly stupid. Mandark became a sort of god in a sense, in that he was in control of quite literally everything. The Dexters decide to go back to the lab and figure out a way to defeat him altogether. As per usual, Dexter decides to build a giant robot in order to enter Mandark's. They fight their way through to get to Mandark, and seeming outnumbered, he summons Mandarks from the different time periods, each time period fighting their own enemy. The battle ends in a stalemate, with each pair restraining the other from pressing the core's main power switch that would save the world. That is, until Dee Dee enters through the time machine. This causes everyone to be confused and unstoppable as Dee Dee walks over to the button and iconically presses it just to see what it does. Oh, what does this button do? This results in Dee Dee ultimately being the one who saves the entire world. Before wrapping up, there are a few important notes that I wanted to mention about Dexter's lab. There are many cool references that I didn't cover, such as multiple episodes alluding to famous pop culture references, such as Ratman, Season 1, Episode 11,
Behold, my cavernous rat cave!
Dude, I think you're a little confused, dude. This is our basement.
Nonsense!
Mom and Jerry, Season 2, Episode 2, and Mon's Story, referencing the epic fight between Godzilla and the giant monkey in Season 1, Episode 13. And one final note to make to the audience that was super cute and wholesome, Dexter and Computress Get Mandark, Season 2, Episode 37, was written by a little boy fan who won a Cartoon Network contest that allowed him to create his own episode. And last but certainly not something I want to leave out, Rude Removal, a banned episode of Dexter's Lab that was originally going to be part of the second season. Rude Removal was essentially going to be about Dexter removing the evil parts of him and Dee Dee and turning them into their own entities. It was banned because their evil personas cussed, and even though these cuss words were censored out, it was quickly removed from being able to air on Cartoon Network. Adult Swim later uploaded the episode instead. That way, it would be aired.
Look, lady, that's cute and all, but let me tell you something. I make my own rules. So why don't you do what all good mothers are supposed to do and clean it up yourself? So long.
But that about sums up Dexter's Laboratory. Thank you all so much for watching and following along with this journey with us as we recap all of our favorite cartoons. Let us know which cartoon you're dying to relive, and don't forget to subscribe. See you guys next time.